one thing that I really despise is when people use their limitations to keep them stuck, their deficiencies to keep them stuck. I realize that this boils down to mindset, right? Just having a mindset that the things that you're not necessarily great at are not meant to keep you stuck. However, they are meant to be used as fuel. Now, I see a lot of things in the media that speak to these two different mindsets. And outside of the media, even in my personal experiences that I'm going to share in this video, I saw this video where there is a business owner in Jamaica who has two fingers and he owns a cook shop, right? He said when he first started the business, he would feel really bad because a lot of customers would come and they would see that he only has two fingers and they would scorn him and he would feel down about it. And when he just started, his friends and family would chop the meat up and the vegetables up and he would season them. And he eventually learned to do it himself, right? He eventually learned to do it himself and he only has two hands. He could have said that he is not capable of owning his own business. He could have said that he's not capable of doing all of these amazing things, which, by the way, now he's looking to expand the business. And that has to be mindset. Because there's a different version of that where he could have literally used it to keep him stuck in his situation. Another video that I saw was where this little kid, they were having sports day. I don't remember which school it was in Jamaica, but they were having sports day and this little guy was running on a crutch. All of his fellow teammates or fellow cohorts in the race had two legs. When the race started, everybody crossed the finish line before him. And when I watched the video, I was thinking like, man, I feel so sad because I thought he was going to be discouraged and stopped. But he did not. He completed the race on his crutches. That's a mindset. He could have used the fact that he is not able to catch up to them. And maybe that's how he started, but he developed the resilience. I don't know. But it's exactly that. Even if you're in a place right now where you're using your limitations to keep stuck, you can develop that resilient muscle. You know, I've had experiences in different capacities, different areas where I've seen people who have disabilities are excused to behave a certain way because they have it. They are excused to just not put their best foot forward because leaders in that space are telling them, oh, he has this, until the person starts to use it as a crutch to be like, okay, because I have this, that means this is my limit. I cannot go here. I cannot go here. This is just my borderline. And it really made me see like, man, it's a choice, but it doesn't feel like a choice because your environment is going to shape how you think. And because in this environment I'm mentioning where this person is using these traits or these limitations as a crutch, he's being taught to do it that way for years. And the saying that says you cannot bend a tree when it's old, it's nothing further from the truth. But I really think we need to focus on the things that we have as our limitations, you know, our weaknesses, the areas that we're not strong in. For example, for me, I could talk about one of my greatest strengths being being a self-starter, right? And one of my greatest weakness being the opposite of that, you know, not I can collaborate, but I do not prefer to collaborate because I have had way more experiences of bad teamwork than I have of good teamwork, right? So this is an area of my life that I'm shaping to be more collaborative because I know that in a world that is run by teamwork, I said this in my video a couple days ago, if you want to go long, you go alone, and if you want to go far, you go together. So there's power in community, right? So I know this is one of my weaknesses, but I am not going to make, because I prefer to work alone, means I skip the opportunity to advance in an area that requires a teamwork, because that's an opportunity for me to grow in that area that I'm not very great in. Instead of me saying, oh, because I'm not very collaborative, I don't really have a lot of good teamwork experience, that means I'm not good in teams. It doesn't mean that. I'm not going to stop working in teams because I've not had good experiences. I'm not using that limitation to stop. Like when I have good team experiences, I'm excited because it gives me possibilities. It shows me that when you have the right team, you can do so much more than even me by myself just trying to get it all done. So, when I talk about not using your limitations as limits, there's a story in Exodus where when God was telling Moses to build the altar after he was leading the Egyptians out of Egypt, or the Israelites out of Egypt, whichever one. And God gave him these specific instructions as to how to make the altar. And a few chapters down, he said, I've appointed this person. I gave him the Holy Spirit, wisdom, understanding, and the creativity. I also sent somebody else to help him. And everybody else that is on the team to help is being skilled in how to make everything that is needed for what the Lord told Moses to do. Moses had a limitation where he didn't know how to do the things that he was commanded. But there was already provision made, which means for every limitation that we think we have, right? If we're viewing it through the lens of our eyes and we see it as a limitation, there is a provision that is there to help us to use that limitation as fuel instead of to keep us stuck. In my video where I talked about seeing the gap in the top industries video, where I'm talking about top industries where you can make millions and training your eyes to see the gap, this is not just a wealth building strategy for industries. It's also a self-discovery strategy to see the gaps within you, to see the things that you're taking for granted, to see the things that you don't see as skills, strengths, or anything valuable. You see them as limits because that's just the mindset. Everything that we want to accomplish or that we think is downloaded onto us to accomplish, even when we think it's so huge of a task, even when we think that we don't have the resources to do it, there is provision already made, right? Let's talk about the holistic approach, because we're talking about all assets of it, right? If we're talking about financially, if you're thinking that you come from a poor background and you don't have any money, your parents are divorced, or maybe they are still together but they don't have any money, and you just tell yourself that you can never get out of your situation, it won't ever change, what will be your outcome? You're using your limitations to keep you stuck. You're feeding your mind with things that this will never be a different outcome, hence why there won't. But if you use the fact that you're poor, you grew up from a poor family, and you want to make a difference, you want to create a different outcome for yourself, you're using that same limitation to fuel you. If you're looking at your finances and you're thinking you have so much debt, you will never be financially stable, you will never pay off this debt, you're using the limitations to keep you stuck. Another way to look at this is, okay, I have all of these debt, I have all of these expenses, my income is not measuring up, I desire to get financially free. Let me create a plan. And I talked about the 6 wealth strategies in a previous video. You can go check that out for how to really sit down and understand where you're at and how you can make a plan to move forward. I talk about my own debt journey. I talk about my own situation, right? For years, I just did not want to look on my finances, my debt, because I was only able to make the minimum payments. And because I was only making the minimum payments, it didn't feel like I was contributing a lot. It didn't feel like the payment was moving at all. And it was very discouraging. But the moment I looked, I was able to create a plan. I had to double my payments, and I set a year span where I wanted to clear it off. And I'm on track to do that. So it's just that once you identify where you're at, it's going to open the floodgates of what you need to do. And you don't need the entire picture to make a move. You don't need the entire move. I'm going back to the story of Moses because I really think that there is such a roadmap and mental block that we develop that reading the Bible can help to clear up. There were so many things in there that they did not know. Moses didn't know where the promised land was. He was just following the guidance of the Lord to get there. You don't know? But when you're in motion, that's how you see the bigger picture. When you start driving, you don't see the end of the road. You don't start in your car and see your destination. You have to drive there. As soon as you're going closer to the destination, it appears. When I started my daily YouTube postings, I did not know what I was going to talk about every day. Some days I know, and I still end up talking about something different that just felt like this is what I should talk about today. And some days it just comes. Some days it comes like 30 minutes before I'm ready to upload, an hour before. But once I'm doing it, it's building the muscle and it's going to come. That's just how it works. You just need the plan, the first step, and to know where you're trying to go. That's it. You go in the car, you just need to turn the car on, know where you're going, and start driving. I really believe that we complicate a lot of things. We complicate the mental things, but the physical things are obviously clear, but we can just use the same principle for everything to kind of simplify for us. Right? And of course, when you're trying to establish something new, you're going to remove the frictions as much as possible. So the least complication is in the process, the better it is for you to actually execute and get things done. Right? We're talking about the holistic person. So we can literally go through every single aspect of this. If it's your spirit, if it's the financial that you want to work on, I just talked about how to navigate that, right? If it's the spirituality, just start reading the Bible. Everything else will just come. Just take one step. If you want to get fit, just start walking. Everything doesn't have to be so complicated that we don't take action. Like, you literally just have to take action and keep adjusting things, optimizing things to the way that you want. And think about the areas that you're not that great in as something to improve. Because I am not good in this area, I can learn it and I can become so good where I can teach people. I just really think it takes the same energy to think a bad and a good thought. So the time that you're just thinking, my limitations are keeping me stuck, why not think, I'm going to use this to create the life that I want. I talk about this in my CEO series, right? Creating a life by design, not default, right? And that life is very intentional. It's choosing things and not just defaulting to things. And when I say that's very intentional, honestly, life Everything is very intentional. We don't know the full picture. And even myself, sometimes I get stressed out about things. And you know, something happened the other day that really is stopping me in my tracks. Two things. I'm going to talk about the major one first. Well, I'm going to talk about, well, okay. I saw that Cardi B is on her Miss Drama tour, right? And she brought out Vybz Kartel. And Vybz Kartel brought out Rebel, which is a Jamaican dancer for those who don't know. And some others. And I looked at that moment and I thought, this was already predestined for right now. If you don't know, Vybz Kartel went to prison for years. I don't remember how many years, but he did go for years. If he had not gone, maybe this moment would have happened already. And the chain of events would have been very different. But it was specifically destined for now, years later. Right? And it's just like, man, we try to have things just happen immediately to the point where that's one of the main reasons why I think we get stuck in our situation mentally, because we don't see it happening yet. So then we conclude, oh, because I'm this or because I'm that, that's the reason why it hasn't happened yet. When all it really needed was time to plow. But I want to talk about something personal. Yesterday, I was kind of not in the best mood, and because I said that I'm posting on my channel daily, I still wanted to be in my video. So I turned my camera on. I was like, if I'm gonna record, I'm not turning this light on. Maybe nobody's gonna watch the video anyway, so it doesn't even matter, right? Recorded the video, uploaded it, left it alone. This morning I woke up to the most amazing comment. Like, somebody commented on the video and said, wow, thank you for this video. Because of this video, I'm going to get up tomorrow and do what I said. I'm going to get up early and do what I said I was going to do. And I was like, man, I almost didn't upload this video because I was really just out of it. You know, in that experience, I was having a bad day. And instead of using that and before I recorded the video, I was using that bad day as a way to be like, man, I can't come on camera because I don't have the energy to give. I don't, and I didn't want to just not be my best. But I said to myself, you know what? This can either be a limitation that keeps me stuck, or it's going to be something that's going to fuel me. So it's going to fuel me when I watch back my video and see how I'm just down. The next video is going to be a lot better, a lot more energized, because maybe it will just reach the right people, just like it did. And the right people commented. And when she thought that video made her day, when I saw the comment, that made my day, because I'm just like, I didn't even want to record this video. And I did it anyway, because I wasn't allowing my limitation to stop me. And it achieved the purpose of reaching the person who needed it the most, which is the purpose of all my videos, by the way. So there is always a choice that we're making, right? We're either defaulting or we're choosing. And the more self-aware we become, the more intentional we become about the choices that we make. That is going to determine whether we see things as opportunities to grow or as ways to keep us stuck. Over the past 5 years, I've just been a lot of different transitions for me, especially career-wise, right? I'm still in my season of just navigating that. And even though I've not had the parallel career path that I want, it fuels me to actually get it right. Because for me, it's just like my mindset is die trying. I would feel better knowing that I actually try and make an active effort than to just accept a situation as it is. So I don't know who needed to hear this. If it was you, your limitations cannot keep you stuck if you don't give it the opportunity to do that. Think about these two people that I talked about. 2 hands, 2 fingers, not 2 hands, 2 fingers, at 2 single fingers, or in a restaurant. Your limitations are not meant to keep you stuck. And if it means working on your mindset to believe this about yourself, I suggest you do that. If you found this video any bit interesting, please like, comment below what stood out to you, and share this video with somebody who could benefit from it. And if you want to hang around, please consider subscribing. And if you're also about community development and improving yourself and being around women who are truly trying to uplift, holistically develop yourself throughout it all, please consider joining my private Facebook community, which will be in the description below. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Let's go make some mistakes. Bye.